They don't get deals that...
They can be wage slaves for a little bit, come over and make a salary and grow their brand.
The people I thought were fighting for you, a lot of it has been a big con. To the others out there, have been locked into exploitative contracts. And I don't just mean unreasonable demands for control, but what I would argue are immoral terms that actually punish conservative content creators on behalf of big tech.
Well. This is quite the controversy happening between Steven Crowder and the Daily Wire. Let's take it from the top so we could see what's actually going on here. It all started the other day when Steven Crowder released a video titled, "It's Time to Stop," where he runs through the details of a negotiation document that he says came from big conservative media.
The people I thought were fighting for you, a lot of it has been a big con. Now, I'm specifically avoiding naming names or going after individuals in this video because I genuinely hope that those I'm addressing, and you know who you are, have a change of heart. To the others out there who have now been able to verify, have been locked into exploitative contracts that I have the luxury of not having to sign. And I don't just mean unreasonable demands for control, but what I would argue are immoral terms that actually punish conservative content creators on behalf of big tech. And that's something that I just couldn't unsee. Here's the worst part. Do not, kids, under any circumstances, sign a contract with people who claim to be conservative, but will penalize you 25% for any demonetization or sponsor boycott. So that's saying, hey, liberals, boycotts work. They work on our guys. We'll punish them for you. Let me go on. Specifically, YouTube demonetization. If any of the major platforms issues a content strike such that Crowder cannot be monetized on such platform, and the company is not able to resolve the issue within 90 days, the fee will be reduced by 25%. And then if you get a strike, meaning a suspension, another 20% reduction. And then another 20% of it happens on Apple. And then another 10% of it happens on Facebook. And then another 10% of it happens on Spotify. Imagine you're deplatformed, as we've seen in the past, where all of the major entities decide to remove you in one day. Rather than having a conservative alternative, you would now be down to 5 to 15% of the revenue of your contract. They're making it known in their contracts that they will enforce the guidelines of big tech and punish conservatives on their behalf. Don't worry, Wojcicki. Trust me, these conservatives will stay in line.
Some people are saying that Steven has taken things too far, and this is all just common risk mitigation in contracts. But I think that is sort of the point he's trying to make. If this is all standard, then it really explains why so many conservative voices seem to keep silent on certain issues. The places that say they are fighting for you are really just bending the knee to obtain as much profit as possible, and even helping the opposition by doing so. And while Steven didn't reveal any names, he did say that it wasn't the Blaze. And there are only so many big names in conservative media, so that basically pointed the fingers at the Daily Wire. And the Daily Wire's co-CEO was quick to respond, confirming that it was indeed their document.
And the answer is yes, that offer did come from the Daily Wire. In fact, I think it's a very good offer. We reach out to the agent, and we say that. We'd like to have a conversation with Steven, kind of get into the details of what would make his life better, what would make him happy. He's got this opportunity. And Steven's agent candidly just wasn't interested in any aspect of that conversation. He said, we're not going to have a conversation. We're not going to have some abstract talk. We're going to send us an offer. Tell us how much money you're willing to pay. I'm going to walk you through that document, what it says, what it doesn't say, some of how Steven represented it. I'm sure he feels like he was being accurate, but some of the things that he said are simply not true. There is no injustice in this document, as I think you'll see.
While I can say on its face, this response comes off as pretty professional and upfront, but I think it glares over some things that need to be talked about. And perhaps intentionally. Because all he really addresses is the money and the requirements of how much content he would need to produce. But let's talk about the golden handcuffs. In particular, the terms around deducting pay if he got demonetized or banned off of any platforms. When you offer someone $50 million under the stipulation that it would be reduced if he is demonetized, when the channel has already been demonetized for a long time, either shows bad faith negotiation or at least being very naive. It was said that a red pen would be taken to that part of the document to take it out. But having it there in the first place just makes him have to negotiate from a bad position.
Same with the content strike. If any major platform, YouTube, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, issues a content strike such that Crowder's content cannot be monetized on the platform, then again, there's this 90-day concept, and again, there's this 25% reduction. Now, Stephen, when I spoke to him, he was very upset. He said, I've already been demonetized on YouTube. That's the kind of thing in a negotiation, you scratch through that with your red pen and you say, Stephen's already been demonetized from YouTube, so we can't start the deal at minus 25. You have to already have anticipated that, and that would have been fine.
Now, even if it was a mistake, or this is just a standard boilerplate document, it still looks bad. And if this is just a standard document, it raises an even bigger problem. Is it just me, but if a company wants to buy out Crowder or any other personality, they should be willing to assume the risk of doing so. And golden handcuffs are still handcuffs. Crowder didn't seem to be too impressed with the response, even leaking a small segment of the call he had with the Daily Wire's co-CEO.
They don't get deals that...
They can be wage slaves for a little bit, come over and make a salary and grow their brand. They can be wage slaves for a little bit.
Let's say it's a kid who comes in with 500,000 YouTube subscribers or something like that, 100,000. Let's say it's some other kid you're paying six figures to come in and do it. There's not the penalty of the demonetization or if they're removed from iTunes, Apple.
Yeah, sure there would be.
If there's a penalty for being demonetized on YouTube, because your business model requires that be a huge component of it, you need to change your business model or this movement cannot work, Jeremy. I can't imagine my show trying to come up and be beholden to YouTube advertiser guidelines, but let alone being advertiser friendly. We know how broad those guidelines are. They might as well just read, don't say anything offensive, and they change them at the drop of a hat.
If making money off of those platforms is part of how you're justifying the salary you're paying someone, then when those go away, everybody loses money. You can't pay the same amount with less revenue.
How about you create a different business model?
Describing these people under contract as wage slaves was definitely a bad choice of words. 'Cause I think that's almost the exact point Stephen is trying to make. If you guys want to claim to be fighting to move these ideals forward, you can't hamstring your creators by making sure they don't risk getting removed or punished by these platforms in any way. Especially when they have such nebulously applied rules like YouTube. If you truly want to buy these creators out because you like what they stand for and want to be a part of it, then you need to accept the risk that comes with their personality that they've built. Steven Crowder has capitalized on this moment to try and build his own media empire like the Daily Wire and start contracting and funding creators. Some people have said that this was all what it was about from the start, which I can see where you might think that, but only time will tell. If this is all genuine, then it could be really interesting to see take form. Looking to watch another video? Check out this video here, where I talk about how Taylor Lorenz became the most hated journalist alive.